You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I
Hey family, welcome back to One Houston Church. I'm Pastor Chad, and it's my amazing wife, Pastor Jasmine. We are just excited to be with you here on Palm Sunday. Such an appreciation of just what Jesus has done for us in our life, and just remembrance of Him and just so many things that He has provided for us. Being so many things. Being a friend, being like when you're friendless, being that person that you need to just be your confidant, who you trust. I just want to thank Him for being who He is on this Palm Sunday. We're excited about it. We are going into a season where we have a lot of events going on. Mm-hmm. April the 8th, if the weather permits, we're going to be at Kelly Hollow Park in Missouri City, Texas from 1 to 3. We have Easter eggs hunt going on. We have bounce houses, food. If the weather, Lord, you'll be our provider. If the weather permits, that will be going on this Saturday coming up, April 8th, 1 to 3. Please bring your family, friends, children out. We're going to have some fun. Also on May the 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Dulles Middle School. We're going to have our mother-son dance. My wife is excited about this. And we were talking about it yesterday. My sons play baseball. We were at a baseball event yesterday, and we were talking about that event at the baseball game. We're excited about that. Again, Dulles Middle School, 6 to 8 p.m. On May the 6th. Get your tickets. My wife has them. Contact her phone, via email, via text message, via Facebook, social media.
Yes, y'all let me know.
We're excited about that. I want to tell you a little bit just about what our focus was in beginning this year, making history in 2023. One of my mentors, my pastor, he emailed me something that he doesn't know really stuck with me, but it stuck with me. He said, Chad, we concluded the first quarter. What have you done? And so that's the same question that he posed to me, I'm going to pose to you as well. We finished the first quarter. What looks different? What have you done? Are you being characterized by the person you envision to be? And so I just want to remind you that, like, in this next quarter going on right now, we started in April on yesterday. What are you doing to be the person people envision, or you envision yourself to be? We're excited about that. We talked about on this past Sunday, we talked about if it's not broke, break it. And this is a series we've been talking about for a couple of messages now. Like the routines or the habits that you have been living or doing, if they're not being successful, if they're not being beneficial, if they're not growing, if they're not in a stage of growth, are you still doing them? Are you stuck in that? And if not, you need to break it. Break whatever routine, break whatever habits that you have so that you can fulfill and live a life fulfilled that God wants you to live.
Yeah, guys, I'm excited about this whole series. You know, after we I think last Sunday we started talking about the steps to breaking a bad habit, breaking something that's not growing, right? Breaking something that is keeping you, complacent. You know, we want to give you some steps on how to live your life, to live the life that's more abundantly, to get that and in there from that scripture we was talking about how God came to give you life and life more abundantly, right? And so we want to get to that more abundant living. And one of the ways to get there is breaking bad habits. And so we're continuing to talk about, I think we gave 1 through 4 last time.
1 through 4.
So we're going to give you some more steps today, as we are so excited about this. And so we're going to be coming from the scripture of John 1:5. Let's read it for you guys.
John 1:5. Jay, go ahead and read it for them.
John 1:5. It says, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. And we like this scripture really because a bad habit, something, a place where you're not growing, this is darkness, that we're considering it to be darkness. And how do you overcome darkness is by shining light on it, right? And so we're giving you the steps of how to shine light into dark places. We're giving you the steps on how to put some gas in the tank, right? We're giving you some steps on how to break bad habits, because we want you to grow. We don't want you to sit still. We want you to be making history in 2023, as Chad has been saying. And so we're excited about this. So y'all jump on board and get these steps together with us.
Definitely. Last week we talked about just not surviving but thriving in life. And we definitely don't want you to drown in life. So go back, listen to that message from last week. We want to live a thriving life, not just surviving. We talked about the steps. I'll go 1 through 4 before we dive into number 5. Number 1 was take it one bad habit at a time and turn it. That was number 1. And then my wife always talks about this daily dig. Tackle it day by day, making sure that you're analyzing what's going on in your life so that it's fruitful to God. Number 3 was be open with your quit plans. You got to tell somebody what's going on. Be open with your quit plans and figure out if they on your team or not, helping you quit these negative habits that you have. Are they encouraging the negative habits? So you want to really look at that. And number 4 was break a bad habit with someone else. So as you're going through these things, make sure that you have somebody that's sharpening your iron, and they're sharp, and you're sharpening them in what you do. So make sure you have that. Number 5.
Come on, guys. Number 5.
And number 5 is probably one that's more beneficial to me because I try to live by it, and it produces more fruit out of me when I do this. And number 5 is remove temptation. One thing that I've noticed as I've grown and walked this Christian walk as I'm going in this process is that I'm better when the temptation is not even there, when I don't even have to see it, because sometimes it will take your eyes off. And another mentor says, where your heart is where your eyes are, and where your eyes is where your heart is. And so what you tend to focus on is what you tend to put in your mind and what you do. And so if you surround yourself by things that always are tempting you, more than likely, if you're looking at that all the time, or you're in that situation all the time, it will be on your mind all the time. But if you're looking at the word, if you're not worried about other things, and you're just going and doing what you're supposed to do, concentrating on the processes and the steps that God has put you on, it makes you just a little bit better. And that goes for me as well. But it goes also with the prayer of Jabez. He said, man, remove me from temptation. Remove me from harm so that I may not do evil. Even Jabez had it correctly. I don't want to be in the midst of it because I don't even want to do harm. I want to do your will, God. So if you could keep me away from temptation, keep me away from it. Some people like entertaining temptation. I'd rather not. But Jay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's so true. That's exactly what I was about to hit on. When I think about removing temptation, I think a lot of people think that you can do this with your own will, your own might, and you're like, you know what? I got this. Like, you struggle with drinking, but you go to the bar with your friends. It's like, I'm strong enough not to get that drink. I'm strong enough not to get drunk. Like, I'll be all right. I'm good. And so you end up putting yourself in your own temptation, thinking that you have enough strength or enough willpower to overcome that. And the truth is that if you had enough strength and willpower to overcome it, it's not a real temptation. Can we be honest today? Because if you're tempted by something, that means that you tempted by it. Like, I need to stay away from this, because if I put myself there, I don't have enough strength. I don't have enough willpower to be able to resist whatever that temptation is. And I'm guilty of this too, because I'm thinking, you know what, I got this. Like, I can go there, I can do this, I can be here, I can be that, I can listen to this, watch that, I can do these things, and I'll be fine. Like, I'm good, But I realize that it's because, if you're good, it's because it's not a real temptation for you. And so just think about it for a second. As you find yourself really trying to break something, don't think you have enough willpower. Don't think you have enough strength, enough of your own self to be able to sit in that or be around that and be okay, because you're going to end up falling, okay? So I just want to encourage you guys that if it's a real temptation, don't be the one to put yourself in the space.
That's good right there. And I'm going to go to number 6 because it goes hand in hand with number 5. And it reads, substitute good habits for your bad habits.
This is one of my good ones right here.
Substitute good habits for your bad habits. And this goes back to number 3. When you take that daily dig, what are my bad habits? What am I not doing to see growth happen in the area? And one thing that I had to do was listen to my wife. When she wants to be loved a certain way, I have to substitute the way I want. Because if it's not causing growth in a relationship, I don't call that a good habit. That has to go in the bad habit category. Even though I don't think it's negative, if it's not causing growth in the relationship, it is not being fruitful where things can grow. I'll say it one more time. Just because I don't think it's negative if it's not causing fruitfulness in our relationship for it to grow, it's not what I need to do. So I need to substitute whatever good habit for a bad habit. And so I need to analyze and look and daily dig what is causing our relationship to grow. What is causing Jasmine to be happy in this relationship? What is causing our relationship to be more fruitful? And in that, you just, again, have to take a daily dig and substitute. Because I know my wife likes to be encouraged a certain way. She doesn't like to be, what I'll say, my coach mode. Sometimes I'll get in the coach mode. I'll be like, hey, you need to come on, do this right here. And Jazz like, Chad, that's not fruitful for me. That's not going to help our relationship. That's going to put me in a negative mindset. And so with her, I'll be like, hey, babe, can we do this together? Let's do this together so we can get this done so that we can make an impact where we need to make an impact.
And that's so true, guys. I'm glad you went the relationship route with that, because that is so true. You know, a lot of us, when we think something isn't bad, you know, like this is not negative. And really, you're not looking at it correctly, because bad and negative, you're looking at growth and no growth. Is it going to produce something? And what is it? Oh, it's going to produce something, but is it going to produce something good, or is it going to produce something bad? Like, we're going to be fruitful or unfruitful. And that's a good way to look at that. I like the way you said that. And that's the same thing. Same thing the way, and you know, it is with just regular, like trying to live your life for God. When you find yourself, you got those bad habits, whatever it is, you started off great by saying, like, you got to find out what your bad habits are, right? So that's a daily dig. That's sitting down one day and getting honest and real with yourself and saying, these are the things that I know these are bad habits, and I know they are. And you need to intentionally, I like to plan accordingly. I like to plan ahead of time, where I say, okay, these are my bad habits. When I see these things arise, or, you know, whatever, this is what I'm going to do, you know, to overdo that bad habit. So it's like, oh, you know, if it's your phone, you know, a lot of people, you know, your phone gets you in trouble, right? If it's your phone, or if it's the internet, or whatever it is, you got to say, you know what, well, the next time this happens, I'm going to do this. You should already have your escape plan. That's what I like, to already have an escape plan for when you find yourself in certain situations. So when this situation happens, you can say, okay, I said that when this happened, I'm going to go do this. And so really do that, though. Find yourself, even if you right there, I want to encourage you with that too. You know, so say you're right there in the midst of that bad habit. It is never too late. It's never too late to stop. It's never too late to turn around. It's never too late to do something different. So even if you're right in the midst of it, have enough courage, have enough strength to do, you know, have your escape plan to, you know, do something good, change the good behavior.
That's good right there. Hey, let's go to the next one. The next one, all of these are going hand in hand. It says set regular habit reminders. So you want to set those good habits that you have, set regular reminders to keep your mind stayed on those habits. I like it in Proverbs. It said, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him. And so He'll show you, hey, whenever you start getting into your own mindset, man, set a reminder. I need you to get right back into what is causing growth in your life. Don't get in the mindset where you start making decisions. It is a scary spot where you start excluding God in your decisions that you make on a daily basis. That's why it's so important to take the daily dig, because if you take the daily dig and start exposing those situations where you decided to be self instead of depending on God, you need to examine that right there and say, I need to put God in these decisions. Because sometimes a positive effect can happen instantaneously, but the long term of that situation can cause a negative impact. That's why it's so important to set regular reminders of just keeping focus on what God has for you. Proverbs 3:5, I believe, hey, keep your mind stayed on Him. You want to make decisions, because sometimes I believe that in life, we'll make a decision and we'll go off ourselves. And in the moment, it will seem like a great decision. But 5-10 years down the line, where God sees, He says, that decision caused you more harm than good. It caused you a moment of satisfaction, but a long term of negative impact. So you want to make sure you set those reminders. Hey, I need to decide, is this going to cause growth in my life? Is this going to cause growth in my relationship? Because if not, it could cause a long-term effect that has more negative than good.
Yeah, it's so true, guys. One of the things that I like to tell people all the time, and I actually got this from my husband, is when I think about setting a reminder, I'm thinking like putting an alarm in your phone that goes off, so I have all kind of alarms set in my phone. I really do, stuff for my relationship with Chad, that's trying to help me be a better wife for him, things that help me for Graham and all the stuff he got going on, and just my relationship with God. So if I know I want to make sure I read my Bible today, because my life get crazy, and I know your life do too. I got an alarm set that says, read your Bible when they go off. For Chad, I know y'all know, if y'all been listening to our podcast, y'all know my husband wants that countertop clean. I got an alarm that goes off that says, is the countertop clean? I am setting myself reminders to make sure that I'm on a good behavior track, that I'm on a good habit track, right? And that's the same thing you should do. Whatever it is that your bad habit is, set yourself a reminder of what your replacement is. Have you done this today? Are you doing this today? Are we on track today? Just set little reminders. I remember I used to, and I'm gonna put this back in my phone. I had a reminder that was like, pray for your enemies. I remember I was at a friend's house. It went off, and she was like, why in the world would you have a alarm that say pray for your enemies? I was like, girl, your enemies supposed to be your stepping stool. I'm gonna pray for them. Yes, I do, And so just put reminders in your phone that help keep you on track, because a lot of us, that's what we do. When we're on our phone, we got that hook tie hip somewhere. So set a reminder that'll make sure you're on track.
Man, you just said something that doesn't have anything to do with the steps, but that prayer for your enemies. Sometimes you'll be in a situation, your enemies can cause you to go harder at a goal that God has put on your heart. Man, sometimes your enemy can do something that gets on your nerves so bad it can agitate you, Hannah, and make you pray like you've never prayed before. And so you got to be mindful of these just reminders. Like, man, I know there's some enemies. I know the adversary is out there. That can sometimes cause you to go into a mode, into a zone where I got to go in. I got to work harder. I got to pray harder. I got to get more anointed. I got to find my purpose, because I can't stay with them too long, God. They're my enemies. I'm praying for them, but I'm pushing harder. And sometimes that agitation can cause you to just go to another level that God desires you to be on. Sometimes he places the adversary in certain spots that in your life so that you can reach to him more often, so that he can give you the word that you need to speak to everybody around you. But that's a whole nother sermon. We won't even mess with that today. The next one is reward yourself.
Come on.
I was like, reward yourself. Like, we're just trying to get into a habit of doing good. But she told me something. She's like, man, reward yourself. When you're going after something and you're changing your ways and you acknowledge and you see the effects that it's happening in your life, reward yourself. I'm gonna let my wife talk about that, because I was like, hey, I'm just doing it because I'm trying to get a new perspective on life.
Yeah, no, and and I think about this, I'm just gonna say from an example of Graham, my son, Graham is one of those kids where if we reward him, if I bring home all A's, my mama is going to give me X, Y, and Z. He is going to try his very best. That's the child I have. We told him the other day, we're going to take away your phone, because we want to see more effort out there on that baseball field, and we want to see you, da-da-da. Guess what? Graham was running like his life depended on it last night at that baseball game. You know what I'm saying? He was pitching, he was hitting, he was focused. He wasn't out there playing. It's something about, that knowing you're going to get a reward gives you some energy, some extra energy, some motivation off in there. And that's the same way I feel about, we trying to break a bad habit. These things, it's a bad habit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that you really got to work hard to do. If it was easy, it wouldn't be taken, it's easy. But when you are working towards something that is hard, and you really putting real time, energy, and motivation into trying to get, do this thing right, when you see you doing that right, you better high five yourself, pat yourself on the back, get yourself a spa day, whatever it is that helps you. You know what I mean? That's Guys, right. Go play golf or something. Go do something that will help you say, I did good this week. I'm killing that. I'm killing the game, and I'm going to reward myself for it. That way, it gives you something kind of to work for. And so I think that's just great motivation.
Oh, that's good right there. Great motivation. I need to do that. Reward myself when I'm doing what I'm I'm supposed to do. That's good right there. The next one we have, be positive in the face of setbacks.
This is big.
We say this is big. I'm going to let you go ahead and get it.
I'm going to talk about this because I think that this is one of the number one things our number one ways while we fall, we go back, we get set back. This is why you have a bad habit and then the bad habit stays longer than it should, because you were trying to do right and then you end up slipping up and it's like, well, shoot, man, I might as well just do this for a little bit. And you know, because until you get back to that motivation, so you end up falling back into whatever it is because you were so set back, you were so discouraged by the slip up, by the oh, I done that again. I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing that, and it's so discouraging. It's so discouraging that sometimes we live in that society, you know. And I'm gonna say this too, because I hope my brother Aaron look at this, because he used to do this when we was kids. You know, like my grandmother, my big girl used to have like a curfew for us. It's like, hey, you need to be home by 10 o'clock. Aaron was that kid where like, if he wasn't home at 10 o'clock, it's like, well, I might as well stay out all night. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble anyway. So I'm just might as well stay out all night and really get in trouble. And I wasn't that kid. I'm like, oh, if it's 10 o'clock and it's 10:01, I'm coming home. So I'm like, it's only 1 minute. I'm gonna be pleased my case about it's only being 1 minute. But you have those people out there where they're like, well, I done messed up, so I might as well just go on and mess up and try to get it right another day. And I want to encourage you not to be like that, right? Don't be like that, because if you slip up, you got your mess up, whatever it is, man, get back up. Don't fall deeper into that, because it's going to be the more work that you got to do to climb out of it, right? As soon as you see yourself fall, don't get so discouraged that you stay there. Don't get so discouraged that you make a hole bigger than what it was, when you failed. Get back up immediately. Get back up immediately and go back to doing what's right, because that's the goal. The goal is not like perfection. The goal is progress, right? And I think we need to know that. I think sometimes we get so discouraged by not meeting the perfection piece of the goal, right, that you find yourself making the situation worse. So I want your goal to be progress, to progress. Yes, I messed up yesterday. Yes, I messed up just a few minutes ago, but I'm getting back on here and I am going to progress, because we're talking about making history in 2023. If you don't progress in 2023, you're going to find yourself still sitting in that bad habit, still sitting in that sin, still sitting in that, that complacency type of life. You're going to find yourself right there. You want to progress. Even if you messed up today, you still got an opportunity to do right tomorrow. So I just want to encourage you guys, don't get discouraged when you mess up. Get back up. Because the enemy wants to see you discouraged and just say you throw in the towel and just do whatever for right now until you find some more motivation. And who knows how long it'll be before you find more motivation. So just don't do that, guys. If you mess up, you mess up. It is what it is. You're not perfect. The goal is progress. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there.
That's good right there. The enemy's goal is for... Let's say that one more time.
I'm saying the enemy's goal is he wants you to be discouraged. He wants you to fall back into whatever that bad habit is. He wants that for you.
I had to hear it again.
Yeah, and when he wants that for you, then you need to be doing everything you can to go against what the adversary wants for you, right?
The enemy, say it one more time. The enemy wants you to be discouraged.
Yes, the enemy wants you to be discouraged. He wants you to fall back into to make those bad habits a lifestyle. He wants that for you. He doesn't want you to have that life and life more abundantly. That's not what he came to do, right? The enemy came to kill, steal, and destroy. And so that's what he wants for you. So anything that he can do that's going to motivate or encourage killing, stealing, and destroying, that's what he's going to do. And so anytime you mess up and you just fall back into it and don't get back up and do what you know that God wants you to do, the enemy, he's happy with you.
I wanted to repeat it again, because the enemy wants you to be discouraged. And the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Don't get so upset. Don't get so discouraged where you can't be positive in certain what looks like setbacks. Man, somebody said a setback is getting you ready for a comeback.
Set up for a comeback.
But I'm going to take it a step further. Don't allow a setback to encourage negative emotions or negative feelings towards God, because he didn't step in like you wanted to at that time. And I think that sometimes people will get a negative emotion or negative feelings towards God because why didn't you show up like I needed you to show up right here? God says, I'm just looking at can you continue to love God, be faithful to God, continue to pray to God in situations where he's not as vocal as you want him to be at that time. God says, all right, remind us of the story of Job, man, God, what are you doing to Job? It seems like you picking on Job. Actually, God volunteered Job. He said, adversary, enemy, Job, you can pick him. Can God trust you enough to say, hey, Jasmine, Chad, hey, the enemy's going to come after you. Can I trust you with what I've given you? And that's my connection to me. God says, can I trust you with my relationships when the setback comes? Can you continue to be positive? Can you continue to work these good habits that I have placed into your mind, into your heart, so that you can continue to be fruitful? At the end of the day, can you have the testimony that I want to give to my people that can save more lives? Man, that's so good. We got to get out of here, Jay. Last one. Main motivation reminder.
I like this too.
Main motivation reminder. Jay, take it away.
Well, I'm going to say this. A lot of people, you see it on Facebook, social media all the time. They like, man, my kids, that's the reason why I grind so hard. Everybody want to know why I grind. My kids, my motivation.
That's my
why. That's my why, right? You got to find your why to why you want to break this bad habit. What is your why?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? This is a bad habit. Why is that a bad habit? Why is it that you want to break this bad habit? And whatever that is, you got to have a constant reminder of that. Your kids, you come home to every single day, and that's a constant reminder of why you're going to get up and go to work in the morning. You got to pay these bills and make sure that, that they're able to do X, Y, and Z. And so that's a constant reminder. You don't have to make that up. You come home to that. You got to find a constant reminder for why. What's your why? What's the motivation to why you want to break that bad habit? So whatever it is, if you're somebody, you're in a relationship and you got some bad habits to in that relationship, you need to be on a constant reminder of his happiness or her happiness or the fruitfulness of our marriage or whatever it is. You got to be on a constant reminder of that. So when the bad habit comes up, you're hit with your why. You got to be, and I think a lot of times the why's in the back of our head, and so we know we want to do right or whatever, but it's not a constant reminder. It's not like coming home to kids just right in your face, right? You have to find something that's right in your face. I don't know if you want to do a sticky notes everywhere, a reminder on your phone, your watch, or whatever. But you need something that is going to be, what is my main motivation? And have that come up to you, present itself constantly through your day. But when I think about these bad habits, guys, listen. We want you to shine light in the darkness. And when you shine light in the darkness, good things will come out of that. We want you to grow. We want you to not be complacent. We want you to thrive. These are the things we want for you guys. And so we want you to live that life of life and more abundantly.